Hey everybody, you're listening to A2Z episode 57. Today's guest is Chad McGillivray, front of house engineer for Parquet Courts.
It's like they're trying to be too meta.
We're gonna make them an offer they can't refuse.
Much better.
Yeah.
You can buy you a drink. You can't just not
Well, I mean, he did pick out somebody we know.
Well, you sidestep the question. That technology does not exist.
Hey everybody, what's up? I'm Aaron, I'm here with my co-host Zach.
Hey!
Welcome to A to Z. If this is your first time listening, thanks for checking us out.
A to Z is produced sort of weekly and show notes can be found at a2zpodcast.com. If you like what you hear, feel free to hit subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast fix.
You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at A to Z BMT, where you can find updates, clips, and a host of extra content.
Don't forget about the Facebook groups, A to Z Podcast Group and A to Z Movie Night. The grouping, plus the A to Z Movie Night podcast has moved to its own place, so you got to go and hit subscribe over there. Hey Aaron, I guess hopefully they can tell that I'm doing this over a phone. I am...
Yeah, there's probably going to be a big difference in our
sound quality. Yeah, well, I figured it'd be right because I'm on the road, and today we are doing a guest of Chad McGillivray, and he is also on the road right now, so it seemed fitting to do an intro this way, me being so far from home.
Yeah, speaking on that, like this one is, it's an episode where you guys have a lot in common.
Yeah.
So you kind of share stories and things like that, and you really kind of show what it's like in that industry as a whole.
Yeah, and then we touch on a lot of old school stuff, a lot of history, a lot of Vortex history. But anyway, just to get to the episode, if you like what you hear, let us know. Leave reviews and comments. We want to hear your feedback and
enjoy this episode with Chad McGillivray.
She was standing at the loading when the trucks rolled up. She was sniffing all around like a half-grown female pup. She wasn't hard to talk to, looked like she had nowhere to go. So I gave her a pass so she could get in and see the show. And I sat her down right next to me and I got her a beer. While I mixed that sound on the stage so the band could hear. The more I watched her play, the less I thought of to say. When they walked off stage, the drummer swept that girl away.
I mean, if there were any like potential jobs that would just attract like a sad sack, it'd be a monitor guy. just a glutton for punishment.
If you need help, Zach, we can find you the sources you need.
it's kind of funny that we're starting this episode off with Rosie by Jackson Browne. So welcome to A to Z, everybody.
Oh yeah, that's a funny song about masturbation.
Yeah, it's about a monitor guy too. It's sung in the voice of a monitor guy.
Right, because you're so lonely, Zach. I know you're so lonely.
So lonely. All right, we're sitting here with Mr. Chad McGillivray.
Hi, everybody.
What's up, dude?
Not much, man.
Chad is front of house engineer for Parquet Courts.
Parquet Courts. Yeah.
But he's also an old buddy of mine and a good friend to the Southeast Texas scene.
I knew him from Vortex days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the kickoff. Is this is going to be the first opportunity where I get to nerd out about something, because how many jiu-jitsu guys have we had on?
I don't know, a few.
So we get to talk sound stop. But I mean, I guess to start off, I mean, who the fuck are you?
Jeez. All right. Let's see. I am
nicer.
I'm a sound enthusiast, I guess. I like to see live bands. That's been my thing.
Do you like to see them?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's a little more few and far between.
Do you actually enjoy yourself at a show?
Yeah, but when it happens, I really appreciate it.
Shows and festivals?
Yeah, the festivals is a little different. The magnitude of it all gets a little overbearing sometimes, and just like being at a festival with an artist, you get backstage passes, and you can go.
It can be weird.
You can go chill out at backstage and go to catering or whatever, and then come out and catch a band or whatever. But what I was thinking about something the other day. So like my first like experience of watching like a live band would have been a friend's band growing up in Buna.
Yeah.
And it would have been Vince McClelland.
No shit.
Yeah, at his house because his parents like let him like practice there, in whatever band he was throwing together. And I always wanted to hang out and watch them play and listen. And they always kicked me out.
Were you much younger than him?
Vince is older than me by a year.
Would you make him
By
nervous?
a year.
Probably.
Like in retrospect now.
This guy hears something that I don't, and I don't like it.
Well, no, I mean, in retrospect, like when you're coming up and, like, I mean, I thought they were great, maybe I wouldn't think that now, but I was just so excited, like, and I wanted to be around it. And every time they'd kick me out. Yeah. And I was like, I mean, I didn't pursue.
What were you trying to like play or like? Were you giving them a lot of advice?
I just wanted to sit on the wall and just like listen to him play and watch. Like, and that was it.
So did you play anything back then too?
No, no. Like I didn't. That would have been years before I even thought about picking up an instrument.
How old were you back then?
I mean, we weren't driving at that point, or I wasn't driving, so
like early
they
teens.
they were probably like 16. I would have been like 15.
Yeah,
yeah.
So that was like the start of you're realizing that you have some kind of like obsession with something.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just liked it. I just, I wanted to be around it, And
so what got you started in the sound?
Okay, let's see. So fast forward. I guess 3 years later, I just finished high school, and somehow or another, I decided that I just was going to buy a bass guitar.
Because two less strings.
Because it had 4 strings, right? And
you didn't have a Thunderbird?
No. And like sausage fingers, like, and the strings were farther apart,
Right.
So it's like, oh, I can do this,
It's a clumsy man's instrument, right? Or so you thought?
So I thought. I mean, there's different interpretations of it, depending on what vibe. Let's see. And then I ended up starting at Lamar, and I don't know how I would have met. I met a guy named David Armitage, Gator.
With Ad Hoc, right?
Yeah. Let's see, and then he and I started like just playing together without, we were just
little jams.
Little jams, and actually I was telling somebody about this the other day. We couldn't figure out how to record yet, and we didn't know, like, there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't, I mean, there were message boards.
Like magazines and stuff.
There was magazines, but, I mean, we're just like.
That was back whenever you had that shitty little, like, that PC microphone with, like, the stand and the stem that comes off of it.
Yeah.
And you got to plug it into the green port.
We didn't even do it on a computer.
Yeah.
Okay, this is how we did it. So, like we started off with like a little memo recorder.
Oh, like a cassette recorder?
Oh, like the little handheld?
Memo recorder. Like it doesn't have like a medium. It just is digital or whatever, And
it can hold like 20 minutes.
Maybe. Yeah, something like that. Exactly like that. We put it in between us. He played out of his amp and I played out of my amp. And then we were like, okay. and then we were like, okay, cool. We just recorded, and then we started figuring out like how to like put vocals to it.
So first mixtape you guys.
Yeah, where we like split a bunch of cables.
It's like there's only one because it's built into it. You can't put it anywhere.
And then I think the most ridiculous part is when we tried to play it for people, we would just be like, hey, here's our memo recorder. Listen to this.
Here's our studio in a box. Take it and play it back on the shitty speaker.
This is a Philips memo recorder that you're handing me here? Yeah,
I would just hand it to them.
Listen to it, it's straight fire.
That's like the most hipster shit I've ever heard in my life, too.
We didn't know. We didn't know how to do it,
So it started off with that. You started like you were playing, but was that what got you into the recording part more?
Okay. All right. So he and I ended up starting a band called the 8 Counts.
The 8 Counts?
The 8 Counts, yeah. And it was basically just, that was like my, that was my philosophy for playing bass. Just play a note for 8 times and then switch. Right.
That's a good way. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
I
seems
mean,
right
you
to
know,
me.
for punk
How
rock
did your
band.
How did your bass career not take off?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And so we started that band. We convinced Vince McClellan to drum for us. He didn't really have anything going on at that point. I think he felt sorry for us.
He was in between high school bands at that point.
Yeah, like, well, yeah. I mean, but he was then and still is like a great musician.
Yeah.
Like, you know, can do it all. And we somehow convinced him to play drums for this when he should have been a front man.
Yeah.
You know, but he bought into it. So, and then the way it ended up happening that I got into sound was we started throwing shows because like we couldn't really get a gig in town. And so,
in Buna, yeah. Where are you gonna?
well,
play
no,
Buna?
we're in Beaumont at this point. Like
Okay,
we
so this is
had
later.
like a little jam space.
They were going to
at-
school at Lamar.
Yeah,
all that.
and we had like a little jam space at Lasota's, like right
Oh,
there.
yeah,
right there,
okay.
right there,
At the portable store or storage
portable
place.
storage building.
No shit.
Yeah, yeah.
The one that always has the super conservative marquee
Yes.
sayings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was kind of like the hangout. There were a couple other bands that played in there. Couple metal bands, and like there was another punk band called Lost City Souls.
That
Yeah.
sounds kind of familiar, right?
Yeah.
That's familiar.
Yeah. And so we couldn't really like get gigs anywhere at that point because there's, you know, it was a shitty punk rock band.
Yeah.
And so
There wasn't like a Texas Rose type place.
if there
around
was,
back
we
then.
weren't aware of it. We didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't.
Let
I mean,
anybody
there was Changing Times, but Changing
Yeah.
Times was like a little bit like more metal.
Yeah,
But we ended
that
up
new
we
metal
we
kinda-
did end up playing there. Also, we played at the Copa.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
They would
Way
would
back.
let bands come in there on like
an open
Wednesday
mic kinda
Wednesday
thing.
nights. Yeah, we would do that.
We just support y'all so much.
So you were actually playing. You were actually doing some shows, like not big
Yeah.
stuff, but you were playing some shows around town.
I never actually played a show out of town.
So what would they get you to like? Would they get you to do the PA or something?
That's what ended up happening. Like I somehow just kind of zeroed it on that. Like it was a necessary thing, you know.
Start collecting gear then.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, you know, just like nobody else was really stepping up to do that stuff, and so I just kind of took it upon myself to do it because I was only playing 8 notes, you know, 4 times in a row or whatever. And so yeah, we'd rent out what is it, Terrell Park?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and so Gator and Vince were in the theater department at Lamar, so we had like all this access to like stage lighting and all that stuff, and we threw like this like one like big show that like I know I was really proud of, and I know the other guys are really proud of, at Terrell Park, where I don't know, we had like 4 or 5 bands, but we had this whole stage set up, like
yeah, with
like
lights and
and stage risers, and like it was
No shit.
it was full on. Yeah.
Yeah.
The stage risers were
Thanks,
made.
Lamar.
The stage risers were made out of crates that that 4-wheelers ship in, because I was working at Golden Triangle Cycle there
Oh,
on
shit.
Avenue C. Yeah, like I worked there through college.
So this is back in the days where you had that like youthful ingenuity, and you would be able to throw these
Absolutely.
things together. Because
Absolutely.
I missed that.
yeah,
I remember like
nobody made any money.
No,
Like,
Yeah.
no. And actually, like at that show, we this is how I met Klaus, Stephen
yeah.
Klaus.
photographer. If
We
anybody has-
had charged, the show was free, I believe, and we had printed up 100 CDs. We charged them because it was like a CD release party or whatever.
Right. This is when CDs were.
Yeah, CDs was the
is a
thing.
medium.
Yeah.
yeah.
And we had made them, I don't know, it was like $5 a piece, and we sold all 100 of them. So we made like $500.
Yeah.
And then
oh my God.
The money.
What do you mean, like,
the money.
That was a lot of money back then.
That was shit. I'd love $500 now.
That's a lot of money now, bro. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You make some A to Z T-shirts or some shit.
Yeah,
the
right.
money ended up getting stolen at the show.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, and a small town, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
So like it got figured out at some point, like who took it, and Klaus was kind of the middleman in between that, like getting our money back, and that's how I met him.
He's like, we'll take care of it. No problem.
Basically, yeah. And
That's
it was
funny.
It was no big deal.
So when did you realize that you wanted to do sound more than play a fucking bass?
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like the band broke up. Just like how any other band
As they're
breaks up,
wont to do.
Yeah. Nothing lasts forever. And I at that point we had a guy that had recorded we had done like a little EP like on a 4-track cassette, and Dustin Goday, he played in this band called the Diabetics. He was in this band called Very Ultra for a hot minute. He had recorded our band at the A&S studio that Danny Broussard.
Right.
Yeah. And so like that was like my first experience like into like, oh wow, like, can kind of be a part of this and not have to be in a band, and it's already kind of the same thing I was doing anyway, but just like a little bit more controlled and all that. So So the band broke up, and I bought like a multi-track recorder, and I started buying some microphones and
Well, like a little Tascam, like
no,
or like a Sony.
This is
the mini disc recorders.
The times had caught up by this point. This is like right when everybody had started.
This big DAWs, those standalone.
It's
like a
a
standalone unit. It looks like they took them from keyboards basically.
Yeah.
And they made it into a unit with a bunch of faders.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, the hard disk recorders.
Yeah, that's what I got. So like my first recorder was a 32-track recorder.
Damn.
Yeah. And this is like
You
right.
must have dropped like a lot of money on
It was
that thing.
it was a considerable amount of money.
Yeah.
I still have to this day.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because it's not worth anything to sell it.
Right.
Yeah, like you couldn't give it away. Basically,
It's worth it because you spent so much money on it, though.
What was it, like a Tascam or something like that?
No, it was a Korg.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you bought a workstation.
I did.
So you were obviously really you wanted to do recording work.
Yeah, I thought I did.
Yeah.
Want to be a producer.
Producer.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know what that meant. I still kind of don't know what that means.
Producer, it's pretty vague, but
Yeah.
The guy who produces.
I mean, the more I find out from other people, it's like, holy shit, I didn't know that. I didn't know that this was a part of that. You know, it's like points. What the fuck is that? You know? So I probably wasted a few good years of this pipe dream that I was
just trying to bring people and
or just figuring it out.
do the whole hustle. Yeah.
You know, like at this point there still wasn't like I don't.
And you're not even thinking of charging people at this point.
YouTube wasn't even a thing yet. Like there wasn't.
It was forums.
Yeah. It was forums, and I wasn't even smart enough to like look those up.
So you were just throwing mics at a problem.
I was just throwing mics up, just trying to do it. Yeah. So let's see here. I would have graduated college at some point through this, and I went straight to Austin, and just kind of got a shitty job, and was meeting bands and doing little projects and recording. So
you were just straight recording at this point. Were you still doing live audio? Or?
No,
you were just doing recordings.
No, I had never.
You were carrying your cord around.
I had never done live audio. I was doing live shows though. I wasn't.
You were recording the shows.
I was recording shows because I couldn't basically compete.
This guy has 32 tracks.
Yeah.
You know how much like my early days of getting into audio and shit. Like what I would have done. Like I would have killed had 8 tracks.
Yeah.
Like with like a little recorder or something like that. Like that was big.
I wasn't doing studio like standard like studio stuff because that already existed.
Yeah.
And at that time there wasn't
there weren't too many people
you couldn't really record like off desks like you could.
You had to get the insert to direct out cables.
Yeah, all that stuff. But I had this standalone recorder that I could bring around to like different venues, and I would just hook up with different bands, and sometimes I'd do them for free. Sometimes I'd charge, if I was into it, like just having the.
But you did it more just because you wanted to do it.
I just wanted to do it. Yeah, I was figuring it out, and I mean, I never really, if I wasn't sure of of how it was going to come out, it's like, hey man, let's just have a good time, see what comes of it, Yeah.
Buy me a beer.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So you're recording these live shows in Austin, and what was the moment where you were like, because you've obviously pursued the live sound thing really heavy. Like, what was the moment that you realized that was your game? You started making money?
Well, no, it wasn't until like I had left Austin.
Was it whenever you came back to Beaumont in the Vortex?
Yes. And,
what got you into the Vortex?
Okay, so
because we've been meaning to do an episode with Tim about the Vortex.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
because it's like
I think it's due. Like there was enough stuff that happened there.
Oh yeah, I mean it was
well,
kind of
of
like
people,
you could have an episode about that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even know what we're talking about if we reference it, so it'd be good to have something on the books,
Yeah, for sure.
Because I don't think Zach was even old enough to go.
No, I mean I went like a handful of times when I was like 16, 17.
Okay.
Oh wow.
There you go.
Okay. All right. All right. So let's see. Like I had left Austin. It would have been like an early September or something like that, and I was just like tired of that town. Like I was tired of myself, honestly. Like in retrospect, and
well, Austin to do that to you.
Everywhere will do that to you.
Yeah,
like everywhere you go, there you are. Is kind of is what I've learned at this point. And so I went to Los Angeles and I hung out with a guy named Brandon Thomas, who he was actually in that band that I was talking about at the beginning, where they would kick me out and I couldn't watch them.
Yeah,
he was from Buna, which is where Vince and I are also from. And so I went out and stayed out there for a couple months with him, and just trying, like, we had done like a little bit of recording and whatnot, and he was trying to get something off the ground, and I was, just kind of feeling out for what I want to do. I just graduated college at this point.
So you were like 22, 23?
Yeah, something like that. I just got a business degree, and I was like,
I don't want to fucking do any business. You've never done business the whole time you've
No,
been
I mean, I am an entrepreneur, I guess, at this point. But
It's in the business. You're doing business.
We're independent contractors.
Yeah, right.
For tax purposes.
Yeah. And so Sastry was also out there.
Wow.
You talking about Sharks in Space?
Yep, Sharks in Space. Yep.
Shout out.
Yep. Shout out. Which Sharks in Space has the best move ever. Like, as far as like a band, there was this band that Sastry was in called Trinidad Fiasco. Okay.
Yeah.
And they had printed up a bunch of merch, and it had this digitized shark on it.
Yeah.
The band breaks up. They have all this merch left over. This was the story I was told. Maybe I'm getting this all wrong.
So that's Sharks in Space, same merch.
Basically, yeah. So I think that's where the name came from. So he was like, "Fuck it, we got all these T-shirts. We'll call the band Sharks from Space." And then you can sell maybe the first EP is called Trinidad Fiasco or something like that. I think that's the way it happened. But
well, that makes sense. We love it. I love it.
Yeah. So how did you get into live sound?
Okay, all right, here it is. All right, so at the time, I come back, I get a job at Guitar and Banjo.
Nice. That's a familiar story.
Yeah, right. I think everyone's done that.
There wasn't any overlap between you guys, was there?
You worked at
We'll get
Guitar
to that.
Banjo?
No, I never worked at Guitar
Oh,
Banjo.
okay. All right.
Tell that story.
Yeah. I was like, shit.
There is overlap, but it can't.
Let's see. And then at this point, all the guys that were still here were doing this weird cover band called Modesto, that they were just doing like weird punk rock covers and like new wave covers, and it was a bunch of theater kids, and this was like Mike Jansen's and Gator and Vince and all that stuff. And they booked a show at the Vortex, and I got elected somehow to run sound for it for the cover band.
Yeah, and I guess the Vortex didn't have like a dedicated guy, right, at that time.
I think Kevin Broussard at some point in time was doing sound there, and I don't know if I inched him out of that gig. Like I'm not sure what happened, but I know he was hanging out doing it, and then I came and did that one that one Modesto show.
Yeah.
And then that's when I met Philip Grice.
Yeah, who
the
owned
owner.
the place.
Yeah. He and his wife Trisha owned it, and he's like, Chad, I got a bunch of gear coming tomorrow on a trailer. You know,
You want to help me set it up?
help me set it up, and you're gonna run this thing. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I don't, sure. And then that's where it started.
So you faked it till you made it.
No. I never faked it. Like I was never like so sure of myself that, like I was like, I don't know.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Okay.
Yeah. So you started your career at the Vortex.
I did.
Wow.
I did.
So your first like sound experience, like not sound experience. You've been doing the recording thing for a couple of years.
Bro, you had a 32 track recorder, okay?
So you started at the Vortex.
I started at the Vortex.
That's crazy.
Basically, I mean, technically, the first show I ever mixed was at Antone's, the gig or
The gig now, yeah.
Oh, no
It was
Yeah.
Antone's, yeah.
Yeah, it was Antone's. Yeah,
I mean, still probably the best sound system in town.
I think so. Yeah,
They just don't use it
Yeah.
properly.
No, I mean they got good guys in there. It's just they don't ever, nobody likes to go there.
At the gig?
it's a weird.
To me, it's always way
weird
too.
setup.
It's way too loud when I go.
Well, what I
And
was-
the sound always it just bleeds in together. There's no
Yeah.
clarity.
But that was the funny thing about the Antones of the gig is that's kind of I was telling him this the other night. That's how we kind of started our true friendship. We knew each other
Yeah.
because I had the same kind of story coming up. Like I played bass in a band.
It's always
it's
always bass.
It's always fucking bass.
It's always
player.
bass.
And- yeah, I played
What
bass
band?
in the 5 Ws.
I thought you were the drummer in that.
No, that was Andrew Crick.
Oh, okay.
So I was the bass player in the 5 Ws, and I had this little Sony MDX 4-track with the little mini disc.
Right on. Yeah.
And that's what kind of kicked it off. And then I was like, I want to do audio. Went to audio school, dropped out
Okay.
because I was getting gigs at the Logon. But at some point, like I started like hustling gigs more, and I crossed over on Chad's hustle, and then like the day after the gig, the first gig I had at the gig,
Yeah.
he calls me up and he's like,
He
"Hey,
walked
what the
up to-
fuck, man?"
Hey, don't you ever step to me ever again, little
Yeah,
punk.
no, it wasn't even stepping. It was just like he called me up and he was like, I thought.
I mean, they probably got you like for like half my rate or something. Like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I think that's what's the
like,
case.
I'm
Like,
pretty
they
sure
cut
that's
the
what
rate.
it was because
you had asked for more money.
Well, no, the guy that I had, he didn't give it to me, but he got tired of doing it, and his rate had been, the rate for the longest.
Was that Bert?
That was Bert.
Bertrand.
Yeah, Bertrand.
We can drop his
And so like when you kind of step in under someone,
Yeah.
if you're smart,
That's
you just assume their
you
rate.
assume that rate,
You
yeah.
assume their rate, yeah. And so
And then that was the way that they could unassume that rate.
absolutely, yeah, sure. Yeah,
But then I
yeah.
ended up giving him one of like contact for a gig that I had at I think Madison's. Shout out Frankie.
At Madison's,
And
Mm.
and that was kind of the start of our friendship. We had an agreement and everything was cool.
yeah. I got to go hang out at Madison's for a little while, and it was great.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I guess this will be our little break point. We can take a little break and like hang out, and then we'll come back and do something. We'll talk about some more stuff.
Hey guys, this is Tim over at A to Z Movie Night. Don't forget that A to Z Podcast is funded in part by our patrons on Patreon. If you would like to support us, head on over to patreon.com/A to Z BMT.
We don't have to put that.
Yeah.
I just like a Death Star track or something like that. Would
Got any
mean,
hate
I was thinking
Would
of
mean a
James
lot to
Legg.
me.
I was thinking put Reverend James Legg on it, maybe.
We can do that. Yeah,
That's kind of a little connection we have in a
yeah,
way.
I think so.
So, welcome back to the episode, y'all.
And welcome back to the show.
So we got like a little backstory on you, Chad. I guess this time we were talking outside. It's like, man, let's talk about road life. Man. Let's talk
get
about,
into the nitty-gritty.
Like what? Okay, so you started doing the Sound of the Vortex.
Yeah.
That kicked off the thing, and we had probably the same mutual stories. We talked about how we kind of became sound guy friends.
Okay.
And it's a kind of a weird thing. It's like we've had this weird following in your footsteps kind of way.
In my
thing.
footsteps?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm younger than you. I started doing sound the same kind of way. Like it's almost, and there's a guy behind us, Garrett Lindsay, who's kind of doing the same thing.
All right.
Filling in those gigs and pushing forward. I guess that's kind of the big connection that we have is that we're from the same place. And I would say, not bragging, but we are the outstanding sound guys, I guess, of the area in a way.
I think
at least we've made a career out of it. I'm not saying that we're any better or less. No, but I mean, we're the two that have turned this into our steady gig.
I think it literally it is just like the want to, like the desire to like continue on and then just not
through all the bullshit.
Through everything. And guys will fall off, they'll go away, and if you're still standing there with your hand up, like, "Hey, I'm here," you know.
What is it? Do you think? What is it about this gig that? I mean, what is it about this gig? You know, what is it about being being an engineer? About
that makes people quit?
No, not that makes people quit. That makes you stay. Like what? I don't know what I get out of it.
For me, not having gone to school for all that stuff, and just having to figure it out, like my first gig at the Vortex was the worst gig ever. Like I didn't.
You like the challenge, like the puzzle?
Yes, it is basically like a living, breathing puzzle.
Yeah.
That resets every day, and you just have to. Every day is a new day. What's going to happen today? You know, if nothing happens, it's it's par for the course, but.
Well, the way I always described it, I think I've said it on this podcast before, is like I wanted to do recording, right? I wanted to be a recording engineer for the longest time before I started gigging, and
you would do like studio stuff.
In the beginning, I was really jazzed on studio stuff because the whole creative aspects, you're still tied into music, whatever, like you're creating a musical thing. But the big thing was with the studio stuff, you have time. You can put any plug in. You have all these choices, but with live sound, it's like. This is doors. This is our load in. Yeah. This is sound check. This is when doors is. The show starts here. It ends here. And we have to make everything fit into place and work how we want it to, no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what, the show's going to go on. And there's something about that always kind of...
I mean, what I found like doing the studio stuff or trying to do the studio stuff was that I would just end up going forever and not actually ever getting done because it was such a big deal to me that it was a recording for all time. Yeah, like you have one chance to get all these variables to come together to make this one idea that is going to be there for forever.
Yeah.
And that was like a lot of pressure. And then I really enjoyed the live gigs because it was a moment in time. If it was great, it was great. If it wasn't, it wasn't.
Yeah. And that was it.
Yeah.
So what was the first big gig that like took you out of the town?
Okay, so there was this band who actually 2/3 of the members are from here, and that's how that works. Like, for the most part, like doing
people
this,
that you knew.
It's who you know.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's a big thing that I found. Most of the gigs that I've gotten to be in because somebody knew me.
Yeah.
Somebody had a good experience on a job with me.
Yeah. So it was this band called Ringo Death Star, and they're still going today. They're doing quite well.
If you don't know who they are, I hate to tell you, but she's too young for you, bro. Internet meme.
What does that mean?
It's just the internet. I'm just calling myself old. I'm just feeling really old right now. Like, honestly, I'm sitting over here listening to this shit. I'm like, fuck, I'm old.
How old are you?
31.
31? I'm 37.
I know. I just feel old when we're talking about like Ringo Death Star and stuff. Like in retrospect, I'm like, damn, I feel old.
Don't be like that.
No,
they're still going.
You
went out with Ringo?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like they did like a CMJ like thing, which is basically like New York's South by Southwest.
They've done South by, I think, too, haven't they?
Well, oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're based out of Austin, so they do South by like every year.
Yeah.
And so that was like my first experience into this thing that I had only known at the Vortex, which
touring bands.
Yeah, I mean, I was at the Vortex for years.
Yeah.
Did you do sound for Deep Blue Something?
I was there at that show. I was there at that show.
They played the Vortex?
Did you shout out breakfast activities?
Everyone sat on the wall the entire show. There wasn't a person at the front of the stage, and then they played that song at the very end, and then everyone rushed for the stage.
So crowds don't change at all.
It was pretty sad.
Wow. Yeah. Anyway, sorry I'm derailing.
No, that was great. I'd forgotten about that. Were you there?
No, I wasn't there at that show.
Okay.
I wasn't at that show. Okay. I didn't really think it would be that great, so I was like,
What shows did you see there?
I don't know, man. I was around. I would just go out there on like Saturday nights and stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not really into the scene as much as like you or Zach were. I didn't really care about who was playing or anything. I would just go.
Sure.
Haphazardly. I'd be like, oh, cool. Yeah, Octopoodle's playing. Cool. I didn't even know. You know, that's how it's always been for me. I've seen a lot of live music, but it's never been like by design. It's all, you know.
Yeah.
Well, it was there in the background.
And that was like that was my experience. Or my experience was different from everyone else's there because I had to be there. You know.
Right.
Dude, I mean, like doing gigs. Whenever I would do gigs, like my come up, and so I guess my vortex was Tequila Rock because I did probably 75% of the shows at Tequila Rock, and that was the hot venue after the Vortex failed.
Right.
It
was,
so like I kind of carried that torch behind you in that venue, and it was like people would see me at shows, but I think we had the same mentality where it's like once you're on a gig, you're on the gig, you're just like trying to dial that sound as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, and that was actually like a kind of a weird thing that I started to notice when I was at the Vortex because all my friends hung there.
Yeah,
but I was,
not there.
Basically. I was there, in body, but I was in this corner
just
assembling this puzzle, that, I mean, sometimes we did like, Tim would do the Metal Sundays, we'd have like 10, 11, 12 bands or whatever there. And I'm just over there like,
you got that right, Chad?
Tearing my hair out. And so all my friends were.
And you have like a shitty mic kit and like half your stands are broken.
Oh yeah. So all my friends were there, and I would see them all the time, but it just became,
like, hey, what's up?
It became this very passing thing, like, oh, hey, good to see you. I'm gonna get back.
Did you start to pick up on that at that time?
I did.
That kind of separation.
I did. Yeah.
It's a really strange thing. Like it's not lonely. Like you're on it's an obsession that you create. As soon as I go into a job site, I'm like, this is where my focus is at.
Absolutely, and that has been like, I mean, we're kind of jumping at this point, but that has been kind of a thing that has continued on, like where I never know like what is going to happen day to day. So like, if I try to make plans for, to meet up with somebody like in New York or wherever I'm at that day, like it's happened to me before where I've not been able to see that person and they're literally like, 50 yards from me,
Come on, Chad, just come up. You're right there, man. I see you, bro.
I know, but I got this thing.
Well, sorry.
Like just everything went wrong that day, or there's all these loose ends you gotta get together so you can make doors. So you can.
I got to pick up a power supply,
or whatever it ends up being, And so, but yeah, I definitely started to notice that at the Vortex. I mean, I had my little zone, I knew where everything was. There wasn't anything that could go too wrong.
But what to expect, but
I was having to be. I was providing a service for these bands that were coming through, and they were getting all my attention.
Yeah, well, I mean, did you just have that thing in mind, where like I want to make this as good as possible?
Absolutely, and that is back to like why I do this. Like if I had started this and was amazing the first couple times I did it, I would have stopped doing it.
You've been bored as hell.
I would have stopped doing it. Like my first gig was horrible. My second gig was almost just as horrible. And so I've just been going up. I've just been trying to go up from there.
Yeah. Just climb up from that first shitty gig.
Basically, yeah. And then you get on a wavelength where like, for a while you think you've got it all figured out, and then you'll have that one gig that sets you back down, like.
You'll be humbled by a gig.
Absolutely.
I got humbled at the beginning of this year. I got my big touring gig that I really wanted, and I was excited about.
You just got humbled because of a guitar pick.
I know, yeah, that too. But that's the thing. I mean, it's a weird thing. It's like one of the reasons I wanted to have you on and is to be able to talk about, being a sound engineer is a weird thing to do. it kind of like everybody that I've met that does it is kind of a strange. They're not musicians.
No. If
like
anything,
most of them,
they're usually failed musicians.
Yeah, failed musicians.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I quit playing. You know, it's like, but it's a total. But there is something to it that we don't really talk about. Like most sound guys don't like have these kind of conversations. I mean, maybe a little bit, but and to themselves. But it's not. It's something that's weird. It's like because we don't get any attention for the gig unless it goes badly.
Correct. Yeah.
You know, like if shit goes bad, whether it's our fault or not, they're gonna look at us if the mix if it sounded horrible or something like that. We usually get the attention, and usually like if we've done our job well, the band look like gods. You know.
Yeah.
But like that isn't really anything that's ever like that bothers you. Maybe sometimes, but.
No.
But it is a weird thing being a sound engineer and being obsessed with that. And I've always tried to figure out like what it is.
Well, I'm an outsider looking in, and it seems like you're attracted to the problem solving. Really,
probably.
I mean, that's what it seems like. The two of you sitting here talking about this, and you're describing things very similarly. It seems like just that constant cycle of overcoming the adversity of the gig, you know, like trying to figure that.
Well, like I said before, with the everything has a set time, it has to be done at this time. So let's figure out how to make it happen.
Yeah. And that's probably coupled together with like, so I mean, you're loading your gear in, your gear out. The gear doesn't change, but the place does. So you have to figure out how to do your thing inside this space. And there's places that will become familiar to you. There's places that are going to be new. Mm-hmm. And I think that like constant refreshment is what you get might
and that's just one aspect that like Zach and I have. Like we have the advantage of having the same band every day.
Yeah.
And then it's in a different space.
Right.
And then like at the Vortex,
I mean,
it was
you have
the same space
gear.
every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Different band.
And they're both honestly, they both have their equal challenges and benefits.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like both of them do. Because if you have bands coming in, you don't really have to worry about it too much. You just got to get the shit done.
Sure.
Whenever you're out with a band, you have to improve upon something that's already so tight.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's like constant whittling down.
Yeah. And they're hired by you. They're your boss.
Yeah.
You know, and whatever goes great or doesn't go great, you know, you have to be in the vehicle with them, you know. You have to hang out with them
is that
the other 23 hours.
Is that something you have to deal with a lot? Is like
interpersonal is half of it, especially when you're on the road, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, most of my worries don't come from the job itself. Most of my worries day to day come from somebody's in a bad attitude.
Yeah, yeah.
Or like, you know, something seems off. Nobody's in a good mood today. It's raining outside.
For sure.
It's worrying about like how is this person going to take this night?
It's not the job; it's the team, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of.
It's a crew thing. I mean, which is why the Parquet Courts guys, like you know at least one of those guys from way back. So it's kinda, that's why they try to hire people who they've worked with before, who they know is part of it is the familiarity. Like half of it's the hang, you know.
Right. And they just recently did something within the last year where I've been with them for a few years, but when they would go to like another country, I wouldn't go because they would just hire another guy like me, like over there.
But over there already,
like that's one less, you know, plane ticket.
European
one less,
Chad.
Yeah,
He's got
European
blonde hair
Chad,
instead of brown.
Probably dreadlocks, you know, ginger.
Probably gay as hell.
Sweden.
And so that was one of the things that they did here recently, where they bring me wherever they go, like just for consistency, and talking about, you know, just production people being weirdos, and I kind of liken it to where they just have their one weirdo, and that's all they have to talk to, and that's me, you know. So like,
he's kind of weird, but
they know like
he
when
speaks our language.
Yeah, exactly. Like they understand me, you know, when I make a weird hand gesture or, you know, say, you know, something that has numbers attached to it, you know, like they're like, oh, okay, Chad, sure, whatever. You know, like, you got this.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's like transitioning into the touring life. It's like, what was the hardest thing to get used to?
I think the first thing that I struggled with was getting enough sleep. I started at the very, like, I mean, I still ride around in vans, you know, like I don't get to do bus tours, you know.
Yeah, I'm kind of lucky.
Yeah, how's that gig, right?
It's great. I love my bunk.
Yeah,
love that bunk.
I have been on a bus, but I didn't start out like that, and I'm still not there. And just being able to sleep when you don't need to be awake was the hardest thing for me.
You mean like just get it in when you can?
Yeah, finding the space to get your sleep in to make sure.
Plus, when you're on a job, like you have that drive of I'm on a job, I need to be getting things done. There's everything taken care of. It's hard to take your own break because you are employed by the band, but they're not your boss necessarily. Like how do you choose to approach your gig? You know, it's up to you. Yeah. Like you don't have much direction. They don't know what's going on.
No, and like they, I mean, you can make it as hard as you want on yourself, and you can make it as easy on yourself. But probably the easier you make it on yourself, it's going to,
which means
your slack is going to be shown somewhere down the line, and someone's going to take notice.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
There's going to be like a big problem that comes up because you didn't do a certain thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having that mentality of knowing that, you know, I guess the good engineers are like the people who have the right mindset, or the people who worry about fucking up so they can't sleep because of it, which is probably what you were.
Yeah. I mean,
you need to sleep though. I mean, like.
Oh yeah, I've got that on lock now. like.
Because if you don't, like, that's one thing that I find that most people take for granted the most is that the only time you really make like all your hormones is while you sleep. If you don't sleep, you will become fucked up really quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that's why I used to do a 24-hour job. There was one time I was gone for 73 hours straight.
And you were up 73 hours?
Yeah, I was on the job.
Oof.
And I mean, I made like an average of like $82,000 a year. One time I made $111,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, but like,
what's that like?
It's really shitty because I never slept. You know, I never slept. I was like, I gotta fucking stop.
Well, see,
doing
that's
this.
the thing is like you had people telling you to keep going the whole time. It's like
but it makes you it'll make you fat even if you don't eat, and it will make you go crazy. Like you, you don't. Your testosterone will just bottom out.
I think that's the weird thing with the gig life is that these are lessons that you have to learn yourself, and they're reflecting your performance for sure. But like they also can be any problems that you're causing yourself that they can be strung out longer because everybody's drinking on these jobs. Everybody's partying.
Yeah.
Like your problems will get overlooked.
Yeah.
A lot on the road because everybody has these same problems. They just struggle through it. You know?
Yeah. I've had my share of fun, like in that aspect, you know. But something that kind of always kept me grounded was that I always had this kind of humbleness where, like, this isn't my party.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm the most expendable person in this entire outfit. Like
you don't make the music.
I could say the wrong thing to one of the people in the band. They could leave me at a truck stop in Iowa, and wherever they're going, they're still going to have a show. Yeah. You know, they're going to get through it. So that always kept me from getting, too drunk or
having your britches get too big.
Yeah, I don't think I ever suffer from that. I don't know. You'd have to ask anybody else. You can't ask me that.
Yeah.
I mean, you did have struggles on the road though, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Something so like that, not when I was with Death Star, like in the early days, like they would do it the total like punk rock style, like show up to a gig, not know where they're staying that night, just to save money, and be like at the end of the night, like, hey, we need a place to crash, and
someone lives,
they're a cool band, someone would always put them up, and so they're a 3-piece band, and so we end up going to this house wherever, and then the three of them scurry into the house, and then I'm the fourth person that comes through the door, and this never actually.
Who are you?
It never actually happened. But in the back of my mind, like I never wanted to be asked, like who's this guy? We said 3 people. I mean, like to put 3 people up, like in New York or something like that, is a big deal. Is a big deal.
Who's this 4th guy?
Yeah, who's this 4th guy? And so like that was always like in the back of my mind. And I
don't know, he's just some homeless guy who started following us. It's weird.
I had
he carries the mics around,
and I also had like I had allergies at one point, like to cats and just different environments. Like the air consistency would really affect me.
You
And
mean like going from like humid to arid?
Yeah, humid to arid, and then but just like
cedars,
and staying in just really shitty places, where like pet dander and all that stuff isn't exactly a main concern. Like it would affect me, and so I would just end up sleeping in the van like a lot of times.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, before I started getting a bump up where get to stay in hotels, like wherever they were staying, I would just stay in the van.
Yeah.
Like, I would just sleep in the van. You never miss a van call.
So what you had this like hang up that came from being the extra man?
Kinda, yeah, kinda. And then just.
Did you ever get into like whenever you started getting better gigs? Did you feel like you didn't deserve them or something?
No. I mean, like if I got a hotel room, or if I got my own hotel room, I'd be like, this is great.
Hell yeah,
this is great. I could be sleeping in a van right now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
So
I deserve every bit of this hotel.
no, but I paid my dues. Like I mean, I've probably spent a good year sleeping in a van, like 365 nights.
It's such a thankless job. Yeah.
Nobody ever told me to do it, but that was just it was a way for me not to feel awkward and then also another thing is like when you go and you stay at somebody's house after a show you just played, they're not on tour every night.
Yeah.
Right.
This is a special night.
They want a party.
Yeah.
They want a party.
Right. At the very least, they want a very engaging conversation.
Absolutely, absolutely. And they don't want to talk to me. They don't even know who I am. They didn't even account for me being there. So it was always easier to get my sleep and
just go chill in the van.
Go chill in the van. Yeah.
Was there any kind of weird feelings that came from being like an auxiliary member of a band? I mean, I still pick up on that even with the gig that I'm on.
Yeah, I mean it's not your party, like.
Yeah,
you can't forget that. Is what I would have to say. Like you can have some good times or whatever, but like you can't get more fucked up than anybody else does.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
No, you can't make an ass of yourself. Nope. That's not the gig.
Yeah. and truth be
that's a roadie's job.
And truth be told, like I did all that.
We still get called roadies, but I disdain that name.
I don't mind roadie.
I'm not a fucking roadie.
I'm a roadie. Piece of shit roadie. I did most of my fucking up at Vortex.
Yeah.
You got it all
while it really didn't count.
Yeah. That was before you started building a name. Like you probably didn't get gigs because you were the guy at Vortex.
Mm-mm.
You got
never,
gigs
and I was always on edge at the Vortex because I was still figuring out what I was doing, and I was like kind of an asshole, and it was like the stereotypical like angry sound guy, in the corner. And by the end of it, I learned how to tone that back.
Did you?
Absolutely.
The angry sound guy thing?
I'm sure maybe there's some people listening that would know. Jake Hooker, he'd know.
Well, no, I mean, it's like one of the big things you want to touch on is that you used to be super angry and now you're not as much anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you kind of had a breakthrough in a way.
Yeah. So, okay.
Transition.
So
I'm not trying to call you out if you're
used to be very quiet. I know that.
Did I?
I don't think so.
I thought so.
I mean, quiet, but very angry.
No, very, very, very angry.
Like, I never shied away from it because I understood. I was also angry, but I think I was a bit.
You're still angry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
You still have anger.
I mean,
issues.
I want to say that like by the end of the Vortex, I had learned to like curb all that, but I was internalizing it. It was still always there, but I learned how to
like just push it deep down
through social. Like,
they're just idiots, like shit like that.
No, I was never mad at anyone in particular. I was just mad that things didn't fit into my box, like that made me comfortable. I was busy.
Why aren't you doing what you should be doing?
I was so busy trying to make everyone else comfortable that like I wasn't comfortable myself, and that stuff didn't go away. Let's see, how can I connect this? So like the like sleeping in the vans, right? Like that. I ended up realizing, like later on, was my
like an escape,
like a protection from being in unfamiliar environments.
Yeah.
Kind of like agoraphobia, like a little bit.
Yeah. You know you're okay in the van. You know you're not going to miss bus call.
Yeah.
If you sleep too long, you know you're not going to be partying too hard because you're in the van.
And then you also like won't have to deal with any unknown social aspects. Like, you know what I mean? You don't have to figure it all out.
I don't have to talk to. I don't have to be nice to this person.
Yeah.
I don't have to be nice to this person that is being nice to the band.
Right. You don't have to say
hooking them up
thank you to
places.
anyone.
No,
nothing like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like someone who doesn't really want to talk to me anyway. You know,
Right,
and
right.
I don't want to talk to them because I got to sleep.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, because tomorrow's a new day and it's going to be exactly the same thing the next day.
It's a different person, a different location.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, was it during that you kind of realized that what you were doing was not good? Or
No,
was it
I
good
didn't.
for you?
I didn't realize that right then and there. Let's see. So, all these behaviors started popping up when I got a kidney stone on tour about a year ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I let's see. Like I had popped in. I'd popped in here at the beginning of the year, I guess, and like I talked to you guys.
Yeah.
And kind of like.
Yeah, we had some Waffle House. It was fun.
Was it?
Did we get Waffle? Yeah, we did get
we had
Waffle
Waffle House.
too.
It was great. It was good
Well,
times.
I mean, we kind of, just so the listeners know, like we've been meaning to have you on the podcast for a while now.
Yeah.
And it was kind of that conversation that we had, and your realization of what you were dealing with was kind of like the kickstart to that. But we didn't want to just, we wanted to like have this conversation, but not.
Yeah,
just
it was too soon.
Too soon.
It was too soon. Yeah, I mean it's been a year since. Okay, so like, I got a kidney stone on tour, and have either of you ever had kidney stones?
Never have.
Okay, they're pretty.
I
hear.
bad.
They're pretty awful.
The closest thing apparently.
It's a rock in your pee hole. That's
Yeah.
pretty.
It's the closest thing to childbirth we can experience apparently.
I guess. I mean, like I'll never know.
That's what they say.
I'll never know. But they measure them in millimeters, and the doctors told me that mine was like 1/8 of an inch.
Whoa!
Like he gave me mine in inches.
In inches instead of
inches.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, this is pretty big.
And they use inches in a European hospital. That's pretty bad.
No, this is I was in multiple hospitals.
Sorry, that was a
hospitals,
joke. That was a joke. I'm sorry.
Multiple continents. But that kidney stone had basically, and I was on tour for months. I couldn't get off tour because
You weren't with Ringo or anybody. You were with some other.
No,
band.
I was with I was with a couple different bands. I was with a band called Nails. I was with a band called White Lung, and I was with Parquet Quartz as well. So I was on 3 different tours while having a kidney stone.
Wow.
And
it's fucking rough, dude.
I know, and I did it to myself in the fact that like I didn't want to let anybody down and all this stuff. So I just powered through it, and I had a stent that was like. I had a surgery where a stent was installed like between my kidney and my bladder.
So like nobody in the bands knew that you were going through this?
I told everybody,
Yeah.
because I just couldn't because I was
Couldn't
losing my mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Like everything was weird, and I was having all these emotions that were coming, from left and right.
I mean, you were literally like physically vulnerable at that point. They could probably
Absolutely,
bring those
yeah.
feelings out.
I started.
Probably hurt when you walked.
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure, yeah. And I was able to control it as much as I could, but it just started bringing all these emotions that were getting really, really, they were coming to the forefront where they had just maybe been slight little considerations or whatever, that I'd never really noticed, but I started noticing them. Like,
well, it's like whenever you're weakened or like you have something. It's like your brain can put up all these barriers. Your brain can put up all these walls and keep everything cordoned off until you have something that takes all of its focus, and then it lets all those things out in a way to where they start impeding on.
Yeah.
You
like,
used to be able to put these things aside, but now you can't because you're
Right.
trying to focus on the pain you're going through.
Yeah. And by the end of it, I ended up getting off the road first and foremost. I was able to get off the road
and
to
fly back here.
Fly back here to where I didn't have any, I didn't have anything to do. I didn't have anybody, any jobs, anything lined up. And I had to go through the whole process of getting the kidney stone out while, being a sound guy who isn't insured.
Yeah.
All that whole thing.
You're working gig to gig at that point.
Yeah, basically.
Freelance,
just gig to gig.
And ironically, they probably got it out with sound.
Give us some free health insurance, government.
I'm not sure because I was put under. I was put under for that.
They probably use that's what they usually use is like a sonic.
No, it's only if. So the sad thing is you can only use one of those like sonic things that will break it up if they're too big. So did you pass?
An eighth of an inch?
Did you pass yours? No.
They might have, but they have to be like very large for you to break them up. If they're smaller, then they just doesn't resonate. Yeah,
I imagine mine probably was big enough to do that.
But if they're bigger than that, then they have to just surgically extract them.
Yeah. So you're going through all this stuff and you started like realizing what? Like,
so
that you weren't happy or?
Well, no. So I was miserable. And so I had this like overwhelming feeling that I was just, I had this time bomb in my stomach, and I have to go through all the loopholes to get the thing out of me. And then, the zero day comes, get the kidney stone out. And I'm like, cool. All my pain is going to be gone. I'm ready to get this like out. I'm ready to get
past this whole experience.
I'm ready to be done. And it didn't go away. Like all these emotions just started ramping up.
It's almost like it just activated everything.
Yeah.
So your kidney stone was gone, but all that anxiety and everything you had was still there and all that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And at this point, I wasn't going out. I wasn't even going to work. Like that's like another cool thing about being a sound guy. You can just kind of disappear.
Yeah.
And no one's going to check on you really. Like there's
Y'all are some sad sacks.
It's a weird gig. We're happy most of the time.
It's a weird life. So I was laid up in my house, and I wasn't working. I wasn't talking to anybody. I wasn't doing anything. I go to the grocery store one time a week, get enough food, and I would just sleep, wake up to eat, go back to sleep. So I was sleeping.
You weren't even like playing video games or
nothing,
or binge watching series. You were just sleeping.
Just sleeping.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I realized like I was scared to leave my house.
Yeah.
You developed some agoraphobia.
I was scared to drive a car.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. I all these things would start rushing in to where I'd be like, man, if I get in my car, I could be down the road and the engine could, blow up, and I won't have the tools to fix this thing.
Yeah.
Like I started freaking out about like not understanding like an internal combustion engine, basically. Just
wow, that's
it was.
And I'm feeling bad that you don't understand how an internal combustion engine works.
And I read up on it, like that would give me something to do, but so.
Do you think it's almost like your brain like tried to focus those anxieties into a way that you could understand, like from like I guess a sound guy perspective, like
in retrospect, I think it was the only way that I could figure out that something was wrong by not having any outside variables. Like there was nothing that was hurting me. There was nothing that was,
you had to become agoraphobic to realize what the problem was.
I had to go to just one person in a room with no outside stimulus, no boss yelling at me, telling me to go to work, no, like nothing. And that's when I was able to swallow that pill that it's like, man, like something's wrong here. Like I need help.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I've been putting it to people. And I don't think like who has that opportunity to do that, to just,
it's lucky.
Like if you're married and you got kids and
it's
you got a job,
you can't do that. Yeah.
You can't do that.
No,
you can't do that.
It's actually kind of lucky because most people, you were actually given like whenever, because with the gig that we have, whenever you have problems where you can't work, you just don't take gigs anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and like most people, if like you said, they have kids, if they have obligations, like they're feeling these feelings, there's nothing they can do about them.
Right.
Most people
life
just
continues.
suffer in silence. Yeah.
And I was at that point, my money started running real low, you know, and I was trying to get back. At that point, I had to go to work.
Yeah.
And I was only going to work, which is like my home production gig.
Oh, backstage.
Yeah, backstage sound lighting. Shout out. And so like, you know, you can get hourly wages there, you know, just by doing stuff around the shop. And and I would just go there and I would just go
like
home.
The bare minimum
just to pay my cell phone bill, and And I had one day where I just, something, it was so minuscule. It was nothing. It was just nothing. Just set me on a tangent where I just was crying and bawling, and I just throwing a tantrum, and I couldn't function.
Yeah.
And there was one guy at the shop there that his name is John Glenn, who kind of just took me aside, and he's like, hey man, let's slow this down. Let's just whatever's going on right now, whatever you were supposed to be doing up here, fuck that. Don't worry about that. Let's go talk. And he just sat me down, and we just talked. That was it. We just talked, and he had encouraged me because I wasn't talking to any of my family at that time, and I had all these like suicidal thoughts, and just I was ready to do it. And the only thing I can say is that it was exactly perfect timing, where I was at the end where I knew that I wasn't in control of this thing, and had nothing left to live for, basically. And I had that one person who was just had the patience and
would acknowledge it.
To acknowledge it and just take me aside, and and we didn't really talk about anything. Actually, you know what? I was losing my shit over, I don't know what it was. It was insignificant. And this guy had just
he just lost his father, right?
He just lost both of parents.
Both parents. Wow.
Within a month.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it was within a month, and I knew that, and I was just that made me feel even worse. Because here's this guy reaching out.
He's got real problems.
He's got real problems. I don't even know what
fake problems.
I don't even know what I'm upset about.
Yeah. Right.
I don't even know what I'm upset about.
Yeah.
And so he encouraged me to just leave work. So texted my boss, it's hey, I'm leaving. I don't know when I'm coming back.
Yeah.
Later. And I came back to town here, and I, visited with my folks, and at that point in time, see, I'm 37.
Because we had been corresponding around the same time. Do you think that him reaching out to you made you reach out to more people? Because around the same time that you came back, and
yes, he was the one who encouraged me to
move forward on it, to actually
get in touch with friends, because I wasn't going to talk to a therapist or anything like that.
And even talking to therapists isn't an immediate thing whenever you need it. You can't just get into it. Therapists have weeks scheduled ahead. You can't just get into a therapist.
Yeah. So I basically used all my friends basically as therapy. But I was straight up. I told everybody what was going on.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I did, right?
Yeah. We talked. We talked a lot during that time.
So let's see. My parents, obviously, they were very concerned, and I, told them what was up and what I was experiencing. And at the time, my mother was having some issues where she was getting some iron infusions or something like that.
Just severely anemic.
I guess.
Like that, yeah.
And so she had been feeling really bad, and she had a blood panel done. And so, they're not doctors. They were just Chad, go get a blood panel done.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
it worked for your mom. Like,
Right, yeah.
You know, just
It shows you a whole lot,
Something.
actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
totally.
There you go. Okay, all right. So I went to a family doctor and had a blood panel done, and then through this family doctor, I just explained like all these like these emotions that I was having, you know, and she just had the snap, and I don't know if she had you know, somebody in her life, you know, that had gone through this before and was able to recognize, you know, whatever, but she had she's like, man, this just really sounds like, you know, she's like, some meds could help you with this, and I was like, I'll do anything, you know, like
Yeah.
I'll do anything, you know, like, and
Can I start today?
Show me the way, doctor. Yeah.
Yes, like, and you know, like, I'm 37 years old.
Yeah. Did you
know?
have any kind of predisposition against medications?
Well, okay, and so we'll get to that, but I'm not an 18-year-old kid, you know?
Right.
Like I've grown into my body. I'm half if
You are who
in
you are.
roadie years I'm half dead.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Yeah.
like if I'm lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky. Yeah.
And so I was just like, I don't, you know, I obviously can't keep going on this trajectory, you know. So like, you know, if you think meds will do it, you know, like let's do it. And by being able to go to all the way up to the edge of just complete shutdown,
Yeah.
you know, and not wavering in, you know, just I'm kind of feeling weird, or I'm kind of, you know, this, like I went full on.
Like you were in a bad way.
I went all the way to the bottom, and then there was those two people right there, John Glenn, and then my family doctor.
Yeah.
And I told her everything, all the little feelings that I was experiencing. There was, you know, the agoraphobic, there was some OCD stuff, which comes territory of being a
I
sound
have that
engineer.
same kind of shit too.
Yeah. And she's like, you know, sounds like this, you know, let's try this. And she's like, you know, it'll take 6 weeks before you feel something.
That's usually the way it is. A lot of times it's like, let's throw this against the wall and see if it sticks, you know? It's an experiment.
Right,
Yeah,
right. And you know,
I'm not saying they don't know what they're doing when they say that. I'm just saying it's
absolutely. And
it's an experiment.
And that is the amazing thing that in all of this, that maybe I said the right things to her.
Yeah.
And she just happened to be listening to those exact things.
Well, you probably laid it out. You probably laid it out and detailed it. You know, a lot of people when they see doctors and stuff, they really hold
try to
back.
hide things.
You know, hold but if you really just, you know, they're listening, so just tell them everything.
You'd already told. You've hit the end of your rope. You told the story to your friends.
I had nothing to lose.
Right.
I had nothing to lose. Yeah, there was no pride.
You were like, I'm Howard Hughes. I'm peeing in bottles and lining it up against the walls. You know.
How's the outcome been from that?
So yeah, I mean, the next day, it was like a switch. It was like a switch went off in my body.
Well, now the next day, it could have been like the therapeutic effect because I got a therapy.
You're like I did something.
And
about it.
every time I do a therapy session, I feel great.
Yeah.
Like even the unloading of like you actually got to tell somebody how you feel.
Right.
Sure.
Is a positive benefit.
Sure.
But not negating the actual medicine itself.
Yeah.
You know?
And so, I mean, like, how did it all work out? I mean, I'm going stronger than ever. I mean,
That's awesome.
I started the beginning of this year as an experiment. I did like one tour, like on the East Coast maybe, or the West Coast. And that was kind of
one
like
of them coasts.
One of those. It was like my trial run, like kind of back into that life. Cause I was going to leave it all behind. I was done.
No, use your business degree to do some
whatever.
business.
Yeah. You know? And that was my trial run back, and I've been going ever since. And so,
better?
Yeah. So I mean, I've been to
Probably better than before, huh?
Oh, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
It's so much easier. I mean, I legitimately, and here's something that has been coming up a lot lately, like where you see these posts on online where people are talking about not, you know, you might not be aware what other people are going through, that sort of thing.
Right, yeah.
Okay. I'd like to put it like one step further in that those people that you don't know what they're going through, they may not even know
what they are going through.
I didn't know. I was always on edge. I couldn't even.
You just thought that was your existence. That
was my normal.
Right.
I just got.
You can't see past your own lens, you know. So
absolutely,
if that's your normal, that's you're like, oh, this is me. I don't know, and no one's ever gonna come up to you and be like, man, Chad, you're just a weird fuck, dude. Like,
I just got my first massage the other day.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand for somebody to touch my shoulders.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you have so many knots?
Because I was just always so tense.
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck off me. Like,
so did you enjoy it?
Oh, it's great.
Oh yeah. Dude,
I get it now. I get it now.
Bro, I'm gonna give you a little tip.
Yeah.
So the tip is go to reflexology places.
Yeah.
Because all they are is people who are actually really good at massaging, but they're unlicensed.
They don't want the licenses.
They're unlicensed.
Okay.
So it's
quality.
a quarter of the price, you know, and you can
what it should be basically anyway, probably.
Right.
Right.
So, but in doing that,
It's
you could go twice a week and not break the bank. And then that's the thing about massage is to really get the benefit, you have to do it often.
So do you feel? Because so we had talked about it whenever this whole thing was going down.
Yeah.
Because we had just started the podcast, and it's I wanted to say something about it because it's I didn't want to just have you on to talk about your problems.
Yeah, sure.
Or try to make something of it. I want to talk to you because you're a sound guy, you're a buddy of mine, all that stuff. But do you feel like that you wanted to do this because you wanted to share it, or you wanted to?
Yeah,
it kind of made you realize that that some people are fucked up and they can't help it.
Absolutely, it is. It has made me. I mean, I was fucked up, and honestly, Scott Mortimer.
Yeah.
He's a
stage manager out of Houston area.
Stage manager, buddy of ours. I told him about it, and I basically said, that's man, nobody really ever reached out to me to ask me if I was okay, and he was like, "What are you talking about, Chad? I always, I asked you if you were okay."
You didn't remember?
It's not that I couldn't remember, but how do you know you're not okay if that's your constant
right
all the time?
Well, you don't know what okay is.
You don't know what okay is.
Because your okay is actually somebody else's fucked up.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm cool. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm baseline.
Well, it's also with the gig, you're living under pressure.
Absolutely.
With the gig of being a sound, the quota that I said at the beginning is you have to be at this time.
Mm-hmm.
All that is translated into pressure to get it done.
Yeah.
And then whenever you have to get it done in a way that you don't like, it frustrates you. And just having to just deal with shit constantly.
This lifestyle, I would have probably never figured it out if I wasn't in this fucked up of an industry.
You think you never would have figured out your problem if you hadn't been in this?
I don't know. To me,
I don't think so.
To me, it seems like you would have never figured it out unless you had the kidney stones.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, there's some other stuff. There was a reason.
The kidney stone experience would have been different if you had a straight 9-to-5 job with insurance.
I guess so, yeah.
And without the pressure, you just had to go to the doctor and take care of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably would have gotten the pressure point from some other way, but I guess it's good that you've learned from it in the industry, but you're still in the industry and it didn't push you out.
No, I mean, I'm going stronger than ever, and
that's the best possible outcome.
I've basically just started.
Hell yeah, boy.
Yeah,
that's my dog.
That's the end.
That's my dog.
That's it.
Right
yeah,
there.
no, we can end it there.
That's my dog.
It's true. It's we took that selfie in New York the other day, and it was really surreal to me because we both came from north of Beaumont,
right?
And we have kind of followed in the same kind of footsteps in different ways, but we've both done a good job. I think. I mean, we're still doing it.
Y'all are the goodest boys.
We're very sound men, okay? That's it, y'all.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, that's it. That's the show,
Chad,
you guys.
Thanks for coming, man. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, man, we do appreciate you. Yeah,
appreciate you.
That was a good ride. It was like being on Astro World, just click, 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 and then all of a sudden up there you had that one really fun little thing at the end. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. It's good stuff.
All right, well. Good luck on the road.
Thank you, sir.
Where are you going? Where's y'all playing?
I fly out to I fly out to London on Thursday, and I have a show in Dublin on Saturday. So I'll be over in the UK and a little bit of Europe for the next 3 weeks. Yep.
Send me some pictures.
Take Apollo with you. He likes you.
Yeah, take him. All right. See y'all later.
hey, we want to give a big shout out to Chad for coming on. Thanks for coming on, man. We love you, buddy. And good, safe travels with your journeys in the sound world.
And we also want to give a special shout out to our patrons, Jordan, Lance, Brian, Doug, and Jeff. Man, we appreciate you guys so much. And also, if you're interested in being big homies to us and becoming a Patreon, head over to patreon.com/A to Z BMT.
Yeah.
You can give $1 or you can give how much ever you want.
Yeah, and next episode is going to feature Jamie Barclay and Gina Garcia talking about the Art Studio's upcoming fundraiser.
The Beaux Arts Ball, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so check it out, you guys.
All right, thanks for listening.